Welcome, everyone, to the Tethys Shipyards. I am Takeshi Yamato, the Yardmaster, joining our host, the Housecoat Gamer.
Yo.
Today, we are looking at the Yellowstone-Class Runabout, a fair bit smaller than the previous 3 ships we've done on the shipyard in the Tethys Shipyard so far. And it's basically a advanced version of the Danube. Now, the Utopia Planitia source book does have rules for creating small craft. There are 3 types: pods, shuttlecraft, and runabouts. And obviously, the Yellowstone is a runabout. First, we need to figure out the year launched, which, like with larger ships, will determine system points. But this also determines the amount of department points it gets, because small craft don't have mission profiles, so they only have limited department values.
I can't find a registry on this thing.
Right.
It could be due to the simple fact that nobody cares. After all, this isn't a true starship, right?
Yeah.
Well, I hate to point it out, but you see that? See that number? That NCC code?
That is a registry number.
Which makes this a starship. A full-on starship.
Yeah.
The smallest operational starship in Starfleet, which, under naval classification, would label all vessels akin to this Corvettes.
Yes. So, for service date, we're thinking sometime in the late 2390s, early 2400s. Now, the Reliant class from STO, the Reliant class from STO showed up in Star Trek Picard and has been statted in the Utopia Planitia, as have the Sutherland and Gagarin classes. The Reliant had a launch year of 2397, and the Sutherland and Gagarin both had launch years of 2398. And given their look and what the Yellowstone looks like, I'd say the Yellowstone is probably somewhere in there as well. At least. It could also be in the early 2400s or something.
Well, I'd go with 2400.
Alright, just 2400 even.
Might as well. It's simple enough.
Alright. So, 2400. Now, for going into system points, a United Earth, Federation, or Klingon small craft has the following system points available: pods, shuttlecraft, runabouts. Here we go. Runabouts have a base of 29 system points in 2150 and increase at intervals of 10 years. They have a minimum system point value of 15. These vehicles also receive 4 department points. Okay, so 2150 to 2400 is 250 years. That's 25 points. Add that to 29. That's 54 points, 54 systems points all told. So we'll go ahead and put every system value at 9 to start. We can figure things out. We can adjust it once we get that done. Alright, everything is at 9 so far. So, I think we should... I'm going to look up the Danube class in here to basically serve as a guideline.
This is basically just a Danube with modernization.
Yeah. So, the Danube values for a ship launch and for a runabout launched in 2368 were comms 9, computers 8, science 7, engine 7, sensor 7, structure 7, and weapon 7. So,
unfortunately, I'd have to say this is very similar. Though
yeah.
I would upgrade the engines.
Right, so let's see. Reduce everything down to those values. 7, 7, 7, 7, 8. So that's, let's see, we've removed 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. That means we have 9 points to distribute. So I'd say probably put engines back up at 9.
I'd personally put it up to 10 due to its upgrades.
Fair enough. Okay, so that means we have 6 points left.
Weapons. This thing has built-in photon torpedo launchers. The same cannot be said for the Danube.
Okay, so weapons at least up to 9. Alright. So let's see. So that's 3. Down by 2, 4, 5. Up by 1. So we got 4 points left.
Computer systems on this thing probably suck. So no enhancements there.
Yeah. Structure, maybe. At least 1 point.
Considering metallurgy is advanced since the 24th century? Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we got 25. So let's see. All right. Comms probably haven't gotten too many upgrades.
It is just a Corvette designed to operate from smaller shipyards.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, 9 points at 3, 1, 2. We have 3 more points.
I'd say dump the majority of them into shields.
So, structure up to 10, I guess?
Yep.
Okay, that leaves us 1 more point. Maybe put that into sensors?
Yep. This is more advanced than the Danube, and it shows.
Yeah. Alright. Now, department points. Again, looking at the Danube, it has 2 con, 1 security, 1 engineering. I don't see any reason to change that, do you?
Not really. I mean, this might be a more advanced version of the
Danube, but it is still, at its core, a Danube.
I mean, it's like comparing the TOS Connie to the TMP Connie. What changes?
Not much.
Exactly.
Alright.
May seem lazy, but hey, it is what it is.
Yep. Now, let's see. Looking back at the rules. Next up after that is choosing base talents and special rules.
Unfortunately, lazy as this seems,
yeah, the Danube has high-resolution sensors for a talent, and the special rule of customizable modules. The Runabout may be fitted with one of the following modules for additional functionality. Cargo transport, aft module being configured to carry cargo. Long-duration mission, aft module has been configured to serve as a rest area and sleeping quarters for up to 4 personnel. Passenger transport carries large numbers of passengers, carries up to 10 passengers or 40 in an emergency for up to 2 hours. Or weapons. Runabout's aft module has been converted to provide additional and higher powered weaponry. Add to challenge.
I'm fairly sure that with the fact that this thing has built-in torpedo launchers, it does not need the weapons pod.
Right. Well, we'll probably customizable modules will include everything but the weapons and high resolution sensors for the talent.
This may seem rather boring, but let's be honest. It's just an upgraded Danube.
Yep.
And I apologize for the NDevs. They just popped up.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Okay, so next up, let's see. Let's see. Black, white, times Roman, 11. Okay, I'm gonna need to further adjust that later. We can. Okay, weapons. The Danube had phaser banks and micro torpedoes.
I'd say it has the same, roughly the same type of armament. I can't really see any phaser array. I really can't see any other phaser arrays. Just 4. Then again, as stated, this is a Corvette.
Yeah.
Corvettes are the lightest and really the most pathetic class of starship around.
Yeah.
And the only reason you would call them fighters is, well, they act like it.
Yeah.
As stated once before, quack.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. Let's see. Anything else in small craft? Small craft. Back up to the pages. Back up the pages. Okay, talents and special rules. Alright, final steps. Okay, so Federation small craft. Let's see. Resistant. Basically, this thing resistance. A small craft has resistance equal to its scale. Certain talents may modify this further. Shields equal to its power. Power equal to its engine system divided by 2, rounding up. And naming and registry and such. So let's see. Scale to Shields. Let's see. Engines are. Let's see. Power is 5. Resistance 2. Shields, it says equal to power, so we'll put those at 5 as well. I'll check the Danube just to make sure on that. Danube. Okay. Official Federation. Yeah. Danube had shields 4 and power 4, so yeah. So yeah, shields 5, power 5, resistance 2. Alright. I think that's about all we can do. Not sure about registry codes. Naming is probably going to be based on rivers and river deltas, just like with the Danube.
It could also be named after national parks.
Fair enough. Yellowstone.
It could also be named after certain locations, like the Titanic Canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to name this thing after the resting place of the RMS Titanic, go right ahead.
Yeah.
So basically, historical preserves and locations. Basically, just look up the Housecoat thing. That'll serve as a nice cheat sheet for you.
Yep.
Alongside Smallcraft and STO, needing a complete and total revamp, this thing needs an upgraded model.
Yes, it does. We need a place for a registry code. But yeah. Yeah, Smallcraft and STO do need a revamp. At least in STA they have decent stats.
Here they're rather pathetic.
Yeah. The Federation attack. I'll go into a list of what ships, what small craft have been statted in the Utopia Planitia book, just so everyone knows. In order from top to bottom, for historical purposes, or in case you run into someone into a species with a similar ship, you have the Space Shuttle and the Phoenix. Then you have the United Earth Shuttle Pod from the 2150s. Then you have the Starfleet Class C shuttlecraft, also known as the Discovery Shuttle.
Must not speak.
Then you have the Box, also known as the Class F. It's a box, but it's a nostalgic box.
A very nostalgic box. Now I want to watch TOS.
Then there's the Orbital Transfer Pod from 2265. And the work, I think that's what Kirk flew in when he was looking at the Enterprise.
It is.
Yeah. Then there's the Work B from 2270. That's a construction thing. Then we get into the 2300s and we start with the Type 6 from 2356. Then there's the Type 7 and the Type 8 in 2371. The Type 8 is the basic Federation shuttle in Star Trek Online.
I would prefer it to be the Type 6. Because I really hate the Type 8.
Yeah, it's based... According to Utopia Planitia, the overview says the introduction of the Sovereign, Intrepid, and Nova-class starships meant that design teams had the chance to rework and update the reliable Type 6 shuttlecraft. Type 8 was the result, visually identical to the Type 6, and able to use the same maintenance facilities and docking ports as the older model. Anyway, after the Type 8, we have the Federation attack fighter.
The Peregrine. Another example of a Corvette-class vessel.
Yeah.
I say this for a reason. It's the same size as the Danube.
Yeah. Then we have the Danube itself, which I was looking at up here for the Yellowstone. Then we have the Aero Shuttle, also known as that little thing on the underside of Voyager that they never used.
Which looks an awful lot like a Danube.
Yeah, Danube with wings. Then there's the Captain's Yacht. And the Federation Mission Scout, which...
Venture class from...
Yeah, the Venture class from Armada. Also, I think that thing we saw in Insurrection.
Yep. That's where it came from.
Yep. And lastly, they have the Delta Flyer and Delta Flyer 2.
This thing needs a remake.
Yeah. Small craft in STO definitely need a revamp, and the models need a retool.
Small craft need to be brought up to better standards in terms of combat, and every single model needs to be reworked. With the exception of the Class F, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We apologize if this was turned into a bit of a tangent when we were supposed to be documenting one ship. But since this thing is so much like the Danube...
We sort of did have... And this is the first time we've done a small craft. I think we needed... I think the rant was...
necessary.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Again, we will provide a link in the description, and if anyone has any suggestions to any refinement suggestions they wish to voice, please leave it in a comment. We shall see you in... Before we go, I will mention that the Utopia Planitia book also has rules for space stations and stats for several of those. So you might see some of those in the Tethys shipyards, even if they aren't really ships.
Bye.
Okay.